Morning everyone, and welcome even to week 4 of my 2024 spring clean. So today I decided it was time to finally tackle the bedroom, and I started off by completely blinding myself, as I always do, with this window. The trouble with this window is that you can really see the marks on it when the sun is shining, as it was this glorious morning, but that also means that I can't clean it without getting completely blinded every single time. So apologies for the funny faces, but we're getting the window clean. So I know that you can't really see all that well on the video, but I do have some hot soapy water on that microfiber cloth that I went over the window with, and now I'm going back over with my window vac to take off all the moisture from that window so that we don't have a whole new load of nice streaks. And now I'm buffing it with a lovely glass cloth to make sure that it's all nice and polished. And polished enough it was, because a bird flew into it literally an hour later and now we have a bird smudge on it, so you can't win them all. So I've just turned it around, which is quite a handy thing that you can do with the Velux windows. Took me about a year of living here before I realised that you could do this. So if you have the Velux windows, you can flip them and use the little catch to have them on the other way around. Honestly, genuinely didn't realise for a whole year. Had a filthy windows for years, trying to figure out why I couldn't clean it. So there you go. But I figured it out now, and so they stay nice and clean these days because I can turn them around and clean the other side. So I decided to do in this room this week instead of the toilet and bathroom, because I'm currently waiting on a little action camera to come, so that I can film the bathroom and toilet in a little bit more detail for you guys. They're really small rooms and it's quite difficult to film in there with the tripod. So I'm going to try looking like an absolute muppet and having the action camera mounted on my brain while I clean for you, so you'll have sort of wide shots of me cleaning with this camera on my head, and you will have close-ups from the camera on my head. So it's going to be an interesting video, but because I'm waiting for that to arrive and I want to get some stuff done today, I decided to start work on the bedroom. So the bedroom is a bit of a project. As some of you guys who have been here for a little while know, we have some issues with mould upstairs in this house. We have black mould growing in the corners of the bedrooms, where the walls are cold. I don't know if the insulation has failed. We do have insulation, or if it's just because we cannot keep the house warm, I'm not sure. Our landlord has been really good trying to solve this problem with us, so we are being patient, but they also were kind enough to give us some money towards redecorating this room. So that is a project that I'm going to be working on through the end of March and into April, hopefully, and it will be a video going up soon. The actual stripping down, cleaning and redecorating video is probably going to go onto my Patreon, to set up a Patreon channel, but I will be putting a little sort of walk around and mini bedroom tour when I have finished onto the main channel, so don't worry, you won't miss it. But if you do want to support the channel over on Patreon, it's £5 a month, and I'll be putting up an extra video every week, and maybe an extra few bits here and there as well for you. So if you do want to support the channel, I'd be very grateful. It's £5 a month, and like I say, there'll be extra videos going on there. I'm being very careful not to put anything too crucial on there. It's more kind of extra details about my life, about my home, about cleaning routines, things like that. So you won't miss anything important. If you don't want to do that, fair enough, not everyone can do that, but it's just a little bit extra for those who want to see a little bit deeper into my world, maybe have a little bit more say over what kind of videos I pop up. So if you want to head over there, I'm going to pop the link into my main channel information, so if you go onto my main channel you'll see the link there. And that's enough self-promoting. Let's get back to the video at hand. So I have taken down the wicker lampshade. I do really like this, but it does really gather the dust, so I'm just going over it with a Zoflora wipe. That's right guys, I am still trying to use up the winter spice wipes. It's getting silly now. honestly, I thought I would get through all these wipes in the first week of my spring clean, and here we are on week 4? Week 4 already, and I still have so many of these wipes. It's daft now. It's just really, really daft. So I'm trying to use them all over the place just to get them used up. So I'm going over the wicker lampshade with the, obviously because I don't want to get it too wet. And when I pop that back up, I'm going to be changing the light bulb. We had, I don't know if you saw there, that big spaceship kind of bulb has like a built-in fan, which is great in the summer but completely pointless at this time of year. So I'm going to be replacing it with just a normal kind of Edison style bulb for the time being. So now I'm moving on to taking everything off of the walls. As you can see from the walls, when I do take things down, quite often there's mould behind it, so I am checking the backs of the picture frames to make sure there's no damage to those. If there is, they'll be getting replaced, but for now I'm just cleaning them. Certainly I will be swapping out the prints in these frames. I tire of them now, although they're lovely prints. I might just pop them away for a little while and have something a bit new. I'm thinking nice sort of forest botanicals, ferns, pretty things like that in here, because the bedroom is going to be having the kind of olive / sage green colours in it. I'm trying to run the same colour theme kind of throughout the whole house, just because when I go from one room to another and there's wildly different colours, it makes my anxiety go a little bit weird. So to have everything the same kind of colour palette, not only is it calming as you're walking through the house, but also it means I can move pieces of furniture, ornaments, frames and things into different rooms and they still will go with everything. So it's going to save us a bit of money in the long term with replacing bits and bobs that get old or tired or we get bored of. And certainly I get bored of things very, very quickly and I like to move around quite a lot. So for now I'm going to clean these guys off. I'm going to head downstairs once I finish this today and have a look and see if I can find some more prints. It might be that these picture frames end up in a completely different room of the house. I don't know, not sure what's going to happen yet. I'll have to have a look once I've decorated. So this was probably a little bit of an unnecessary step, but I really wanted to be thorough today, so I thought I would soak this macrame moon that I had hanging on the wall. So I just left that to soak with some laundry detergent and hot water for a couple of hours. I'll come back to it later and see how much gunk we got off it. So in the meantime, back in the bedroom, I've taken this mirror off the wall. I'm not really too sure what I'm going to do with this mirror. I do like it, I like the style, I like the beveled edges, but as mirrors do when they start to get a little bit older, it's starting to get some kind of flecks in the paint at the back, which I think looks kind of pretty, but it's not very good for doing your makeup. So I'm not sure what's going to happen to this mirror. I think it's probably going to have to go, to be honest. But yeah, it's starting to get, I guess the antique dealers would call it a patina. It's starting to get that, which, like I say, I think is really pretty, but it's no good when you're trying to put your lashes on. It's rubbish. So here I am at the moment, currently trying to scrub some, I don't think it's mould, I think it's like mildew marks off of the back of it. And I'm just going to polish up the front in case I do change my mind. It might look nice, I'm thinking, behind a house plant or something like that. If I can repurpose it, I will, because I don't want to go out and buy a whole bunch of new mirrors and things if I don't have to. I'm thinking it will look nice behind a plant somewhere. So in the meantime, it's just going to tuck away until I can find somewhere for it. If I haven't found somewhere for it in, let's give myself 3 months. So what are we in now? March, April, May, June. So if I haven't found somewhere for it by the end of June, I will get rid of it. I'm trying to give myself little limits on how long I keep things that I don't really have a place for. And certainly I want to be doing a few car boot sales throughout the late spring and summer to get rid of bits and bobs. So yeah, I'll put it away and see what happens. So at this point I get distracted by the mould. I hate seeing it there, and I'm pretty sure that it's just kind of holding on to the texture of the wallpaper rather than actually growing on the wall. So I started to take the wallpaper off and I was right. Basically it was just sitting on the wallpaper, not on the wall itself, which is great news because that means I can clean it and I can treat it and we can repaint this area and it'll be fine. It seems like the issue is just condensation on the inside of the wall rather than moisture coming from the outside, so that's really, really good news. I'm very happy about that. I did stop myself after I removed one piece of wallpaper, but I do need to get back on it over the next couple of weeks. My husband's going away for the weekend and that gives me the perfect chance to come in and just rip all the wallpaper down and be completely savage. Looking forward to that very much. So now I'm just rescuing the macrame back out of the sink. It's been soaking for about an hour and a half, I think it was in the end. I went downstairs and had a cup of tea and a bit of lunch, and now I've come back to it now, so I'm just going to give it a nice rinse, and then I end up hanging it on the back of the bathroom door with a towel underneath so that it can drip dry, and it dried beautifully and it smells lovely now. Couldn't believe how yucky it was though, the colour of the water. I don't know if that's just the yarn or if it was just really mucky, but I'm glad that it's clean and done. So now I'm back into the bedroom. This is day 2, and I have started now to clean my high cleans. So the tops of the doors, the tops of the wardrobe, all of that are going to get done today, and then I will have to have a break for a few days until I can get back in here again at the weekend. When my husband is not home. As many of you guys know, he works night shifts, so he sleeps pretty much the entire of the time that I'm at home. He's in here asleep and he wakes up just as I go to work. So it does make it difficult to do a deep spring clean in here, but I'm getting by. I'm just doing a little bit here and there when he's not in the room, so you will see quite a few outfit changes I'm sure during this video, and quite a few changes in the natural light coming into the room, things like that. I do apologise, but there's not a lot I can really do about it. It's just a case of I can get in there now, I'm going to get in there now. So I'm just using my bicarb flash spray to go over all the framework around the door and the back of the door itself. I did the door outside the other day when I was doing the stairs and landing clean, which I will try and put a little card to, so you can go back and see that if you haven't seen it yet. And I'm just going to do this side of the door today. It wasn't particularly dirty, I went over it not too long ago, but it has picked up a little bit of dust and a few scuffs and bits. Mainly I think where I've been taking cups of tea in and out and I've kind of caught myself on the door handle and sort of splattered tea onto the door. I'm pretty good at that. I'm one of them people, it doesn't matter how careful I am, I can totally get a jumper caught on a door handle every single time I walk past the door handle. I'm kind of wishing we'd gone for doorknobs as opposed to door handles, but it's a bit late now and I prefer the look of a door handle anyway, so I'm just going to have to get used to the fact that I'm going to forever get stuck on them with my big baggy jumpers. So now I'm moving on to this cupboard here. It's in the same style as our other doors, but this is actually the door to the linen cupboard. This is a really weird, we used to have a big immersion heater tank in this cupboard. So this cupboard actually has 2 doors. It's got one door that goes into the bedroom, which is the one I'm cleaning now, and then the other door to it goes out onto the landing, which I cleaned the other day. I think it's kind of like for maintenance purposes, so that they could get round to both sides of the immersion heater. But yeah, I've never seen an airing cupboard with 2 doors before, so it's a new one on me. But they did take the immersion heater out a couple of years ago when they put the new combi boiler in. So now it's just a large airing cupboard that is in desperate need of decluttering and reorganising, because me being me, I have jammed a whole bunch of stuff in there, and it looks like a jumble sale. So it's something that I'm going to be decluttering in one of my April declutter videos. Is definitely going to be the airing cupboard. In fact, I might start with that in April when I start doing my decluttering series, because it's going to be the easiest one to do and it will kind of spur me on to do a little bit more. So yeah, definitely going to sort out that cupboard at the beginning of April and get it all clean and organised so it's a bit more user friendly, because right now you open the door and stuff just falls out onto you. Okay, so now it's time to move on to our teeny tiny radiator. I'm not really sure what purpose this serves in this room because it certainly does not heat it. It's always pretty cold in this room. I think that's another reason why we have such an issue with the mould in here. We can't heat the walls because this radiator really underperforms. It's new, we know there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's just too small for the size of the room to be effective in heating it. And also I find it a little bit strange that it's on the other side of the room. In the rest of the houses I've ever lived in, the radiator's underneath the window, and I feel like that's important. But this is kind of just tucked in the back corner of the bedroom, well out of the way. All it really does is gather dust and stop me from moving the wardrobe into the corner. But either way it's going to get clean, because even though it does only a tiny kind of portion of the heating of the house, it does smell of dust when you turn it on at the beginning of autumn if you do not clean it. So I'm just going over it with my flash spray, going in with my little detail brush. I bought this from, where was it? I think I got it from Shein actually, or Shein, however you pronounce it. Got it from there, and it's actually for the insides of like window frames and stuff. It's pretty good for that, but it's also pretty good at getting in the radiator crevices. And now I'm just heading over the skirting boards with my little brush. Again, they're very dusty, kind of manky, especially behind the pipe. I can't get back there properly. It's really annoying. I can get there with the brush, but I can't get the microfiber in to kind of wipe it clean. The last job for the bedroom for this spring clean today is to shampoo the carpets. I did not do this very long ago, and I'm not going to go over it massively repeatedly because very soon we're going to be redecorating in here. We're going to be putting everything out and giving it a proper clean once all the new paint and stuff is on. So it's just going to go for a quick clean today using my Platinum Smart Wash as always. I'm not using the baby shampooer today because I don't really have any little spaces that I need to get into. So it's just a quick once over with this. I had about an hour to do this before my husband was due home. He was away for the weekend and he was coming home, and I presumed he would want to go straight to bed. So I wanted to get this done before he came home. So I just went over it one time really quick, just making sure to go over each piece with the shampoo about 3 or 4 times, just to make sure I could get the most out of it as possible. I got a fair bit of gunk up, but not nearly so bad as the other rooms, so I was quite pleased that it had stayed relatively clean. However, cleaning all of the carpets is not my favourite job. I like using the machines, but it's just such a long-winded process. I'm very glad that we are done with this now for the rest of the spring and summer. I might come back and go over a few other carpets on particularly warm days if I notice they're slipping, but I can clean down this carpet shampooer after today and pop it away until the next deep clean of the house, because all the carpets are now done. I've done the kids' rooms, but I did that off camera. I don't want to be filming in their rooms because, you know, privacy. So those are all done as well, and I can finally put this carpet shampooing to bed. Like I say, it's a satisfying job. I like using the machines, but it just takes so much out of you. You've got to have a decent day to do it so the carpets dry nice and quickly. You've got to have the, you know, the energy to do it. You've got to have the room clean, and particularly with the bedroom, I was in and out a few times during a couple of weeks to get this done because my husband's sleeping in here most of the time. So it wasn't all done in like one day like the video would suggest. It's done over a couple of weeks. So to keep it tidy to the point where I can clean the carpets it was quite a lot. So I had to keep coming in and re-cleaning just so it would all be like coherent for the video. So I'm glad it's done. I'm very glad it's done. We did get a dirty water dump, which I'll pop on the end. But I will warn you guys now, this video does end a little bit abruptly. I wanted to do a kind of pan of the bedroom once it was done, but like I say, my husband was back and was asleep. So it's going to end rather abruptly with me shampooing the carpets. I apologise for that. But I really hope that you guys have enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great week. See you next time. Bye bye.